Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of Questions and Answers, where I go over your questions about your federal benefits, your federal retirement, so that you can get the answer that you need to retire confident. So, again, if you have any questions yourself, in the description below, you can submit those. So without further ado, let's jump into the questions. First one says, hey, at age 60, would I have to take out a TSP annuity to get the annuity supplement? So this is a very quick question. It's just a sentence long, but there's a lot of confusion just kind of written into it, okay? And this is really a confusion that is based in the words we use for different benefits, okay? So he talks about the TSP annuity and the annuity supplement, okay? And he asked, hey, do I have to take the TSP annuity to get the annuity supplement, okay? And if you're confused already, let me break this down, okay? So annuity supplement, another name for that is the FERS Supplement or Social Security Supplement. There's a ton of names that are used for it across the internet and even on benefit statements, okay? So when he says annuity supplement, that's what he's talking about. And I could see why he's asking this question, because he says, hey, it's called the annuity supplement, so wouldn't I have to have a TSP annuity to get the annuity supplement, right? But let's break this down even further. So your pension, basically the monthly check you're going to get in retirement, assuming you're eligible, all that good stuff, can also be called an annuity. It's not as common, but it's out there, okay? And that's why on this channel, I always try to call it your pension, to try to separate most annuities from this monthly check you're going to get in retirement. It's your retirement check, it's your pension, okay? Your FERS supplement is a supplement to that pension. And so your FERS supplement and your pension are completely separate from your TSP, completely separate benefits, and what you decide to do with your TSP is not going to affect your FERS supplement, your annuity supplement, whatever you want to call it, or your pension, okay? Completely separate things. Now, when it comes to your TSP and deciding what to do there, of course, like this gentleman brought up, you can buy an annuity. You can take some of your money or all of it, go down to MetLife and get an annuity where basically they guarantee a certain amount of income every month, depending on how much you have, how long you're going to live, things like that, right? So I've done whole videos on this, but in general, the annuity doesn't make a lot of sense for a lot of federal employees. Again, you can dig into the details of why I think that in the other videos. But hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that clarifies some of the words we use for the different benefits and why this question might exist. Okay, next question. Okay, they say, hey, I love your channel. Thank you so much for making the videos and sharing your expertise. I'm a 62-year-old nurse and a first-time federal employee working in the VA health system. Perfect. Prior to this, I worked all my life in the private sector, okay? What will I be eligible for at my full retirement age, which is 66 and 8 months? For example, FERS and medical benefits. Okay, great question. Great question. So this is another confusing point that I see quite often. So there's two different ages. There's your minimum retirement age, or your MRA, and that is for your FERS federal benefits, okay? That's going to be in your late 50s. For many of you, it's going to be 56 something or 57, okay? So that is only for your federal benefits. When we're talking about your MRA, that's what we're talking about, okay? What this gal, I believe it's a gal, I just assume genders with these questions, I don't know why, right? In this gal's question, she brought up her full retirement age, or FRA, and this is for Social Security, okay? So these ages are completely different systems. They're four completely different systems. Social Security is very, very independent and separate from your federal benefits, okay? So if she is 62 right now, and she keeps working till 66 and 8 months, then of course she can start Social Security whenever she wants after 62, but the full retirement age for Social Security has no bearing on her federal benefits. Now, as federal employees, you know that once you're age 62 or later, as long as you have 5 years of service, you can be eligible to retire with your federal benefits. You can get a pension, you could keep your health insurance and things like that, right? So once this gal is over age 62 and has at least 5 years of service, then she can be eligible to retire. And of course, for Social Security, she can draw that at any time. But of course, it makes sense to wait until at least you're done working most of the time. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Next question. And this question, I'm going to do a little pre-answer. Okay, this question I get all the time. This is probably the most asked question in the submission in the description below. And so I've actually addressed this before, but because I've seen it so often, I wanted to bring it up one more time. Okay, the question is, hey, I am covered by traditional FERS. I will have approximately 19 years and 6 months worth of service when I reach age 62. If I have more than 6 months of sick leave accrued at that time that I reach age 62, can I retire and use my sick leave to qualify for the 1.1% calculation in my FERS pension if I retire at 62? Okay, so it may sound familiar if you are a regular here, but basically this is what he's asking. He says, hey, I know that if I have 20 years of service and retire at age 62 or later, I know that I get a 10% bump to my pension. I get a 10% bonus to my pension, which can be a big, big deal, right? But he's saying, hey, what if I have 19 years and 6 months worth of credible service, but I've got more than 6 months worth of sick leave? Does that sick leave come in and make up the difference and make him eligible for that bonus, right? And oftentimes, when I meet with federal employees, when I do these shows, I am often bringing bad news, right? Where I have to inform people that maybe it's not as good as they thought, right? But sometimes I get the privilege of actually bringing good news. I say, no, it's actually better than you thought. I'm bringing good news, and I love bringing good news, okay? And in this example, I have good news. The answer is yes, you certainly can, okay? So the one confusion with sick leave and getting that to add to your credible service in retirement is it cannot make you eligible to retire, right? We know, going to the basics, as a traditional FERS, not special provisions, as a traditional FERS, you can be eligible to retire at your minimum retirement age with 30 years of service, or at age 60 with 20 years of service, or age 62 with 5 years of service, okay? So if you're trying to meet those eligibility requirements to retire, sick leave will not get you there. It won't get you there, okay? If you're already eligible for one of those three, then sick leave will add on to your pension and it'll give you more money every month, which is a great thing. And that is why it's confusing when it comes to this question. Because technically at 62, if you have 20 years of service or 19 and 6 months, you're already eligible to retire. You are, because you only need 5 years at 62. And this gentleman's going to have 19 years and 6 months, right? And so he's already eligible. So sick leave isn't going to make him eligible. The question is, hey, will sick leave bump me up to get that multiplier? And the question is yes. OPM has addressed this specifically and said yes, it will jump in. And if it does bump you up to at least 20 years, then you can get that multiplier, which is a 10% bonus to your pension at age 62. If you retire at age 62 or later. So that is today's episode. Have an incredible rest of your day. If you have any questions yourself, put in the description below where there's a link where you get to submit all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time.